Hello and welcome to this open source software development hangout. Today we're going to be working on some peer review for a couple of open source projects. We're going to look at other people's code. I probably won't do too much coding myself today. On this CiviWiki project, we've got a lot of people who have contributed to the project. And today we're going to welcome a few new contributors, and what I'm going to do is go through some open pull requests. Previously, off stream, I've been kind of opening and triaging some issues. We're setting up for Hacktoberfest, which started on the 1st of October. So really all of these issues that are tagged Hacktoberfest and any pull request that's open this month should qualify for the Hacktoberfest event. So what we'll do is we'll go in the order they were opened. I'm a little bit slow on this. A lot of these pull requests were opened, let's see, something more recent, like 4 days ago, 3 days ago, up to 12 hours ago. And I requested change on that, so I did review that. But let's go ahead and start. This is a huge one, review required. Let's go with these more recent ones. Disable auto-named migrations. So essentially what I've done is open several issues based on a book. It's something about Django user experience. I'll get the name of the book in a moment. CMAR. CMAR didn't respond. We've got to have this. We've got to be assigned to tasks. That's going to be one ground rule we're setting up. Um, 1351. GitHub won't let me assign people. Otherwise, I would just assign CMAR here. But when I make sure, oops, CMAR 5244. Yeah, when I start to type their name, GitHub will only let me assign people who are members of the CiviWiki organization or who have commented in an issue. Since there are other developers who have also expressed interest in this issue, I think it's fair that any issue we have under development should be assigned to somebody in a community. That's a good process. I know CMAR and other developers sometimes just want to solve the problem right away and we'll go straight to the pull request, but really we need that slight formality in place for good communication. So I'm going to kind of I'll have to add that to our contributing guide too. I think that's one of the missing pieces. And I'll just go as far as I'll say, CMAR, please add a comment here and I can assign you. I think I can do it like this. I saved a canned response. Claim issue. Oh yeah, it's basically the same thing. But that's from the... something like that. Just trying to be direct and succinct and connect the dots. Okay, so we'll come back to that one. I mean, otherwise, the work is good. I think it's a small, really small pull request, and it's coming directly from this book. I don't know why I type resume. Boost Your Django DX. Got that book. It's really good. And essentially what we've done is just implementing all these ideas. So if you're doing any Django development, highly recommend this book. It's really great. Content's very straightforward, easy to follow, step-by-step guide, and even offering a discount if to make sure that the content is available and accessible to everybody. Nonetheless, we're implementing those ideas here, so you can also see on a meta level a lot of the kind of tasks that the book recommends you do to improve your Django developer experience. All right, so let's go to the next pull request in the order of creation. So actually, one formality I should be doing is to acknowledge that I reviewed this pull requests. Actually, is this. I commented, but I should have. It's not file change. It's procedural process change. Which happens in code review. It's mostly the review does revolve around the contents of the files to change, but sometimes you have to add some process comments. So request changes. That signals to me that there have been, it's been reviewed initially, but okay, Gorksman. All right, reverse comments. On this one, I can jump to, okay, so it's referencing an issue, and it's just a file that got removed, and now the pages won't load. Okay, that makes sense. So we'll prove that. It's pretty straightforward. And when we merge this, one change we've made is switching away from using rebase to just using merge commits when we. All right, see now Gorkum is following our kind of process, and that's why this page wasn't rendering. We had to, what we have here is a CW variable that points to a backbone view model. And we're porting away from using Backbone. We're going to try to use a regular Django view model, view and template codes. So in the process, we probably don't want to throw out our Backbone altogether. So that's going to be another whole epic. It's how we recover the Backbone templates and migrate those. Okay, so I've already reviewed this one. Migrate those to the Django template syntax. IPython in dev looks good. And look at this, closes. I think I might have helped a little bit on this one. And I'll take this review. I can approve and run the workflow. There's two changes that were made. One to our poetry file that adds IPython and our dev dependencies. It looks good. And the poetry lock, which sort of goes through all of our dependencies, finds their most recent compatible versions, and sort of like keeps track of what versions those are, a little bit of metadata about them. And in order to add IPython, it looks like our kind of dependencies exploded. That might not have been the best idea. Once we get towards production, we might look at rolling back some of those changes. But this one, the process was followed. Let me just double check real quick that I've also assigned, yes. And at the oh, right. On this project, we're not using CLA. So I think I can merge this. It should be fine to merge. I'll approve it nonetheless. That won't delay the CI workflow. One thing we might want to do is just enable this once the CI workflow passes, if it passes, to auto merge. It's just going to run some tests. Since this was a dependency, it's not changed. It's not as likely to break other code, but that can happen definitely. And one thing I want to do is add test coverage reporting to this workflow. And in each of these pull requests, I'm going to want to make sure to run all contributors. Looks good. All right, so I can go ahead and merge. Confirm merge. Now the code's in master, and what I've got is a little canned response, so to speak, that helps us be good community stewards. We want to encourage and affirm all contributors. A lot of contributions come in the form of code, but there's many ways to contribute to open source projects. If you're interested in doing design or testing the software out, reporting bugs, coming up with feature ideas, there's all those types of things are welcome and more. What we'll do is code changes are easy to sort of track and show that something was contributed, but sometimes the other types of contributions, they don't get so much attention, and we really want to make sure that everybody gets the credit they're due. Okay, so then it's just I'll approve it. This all contributors bot is the way we do that. It's automated process. All contributors. And there's lots of ways that you can contribute, and I'll just show you a few of those. Emoji key. Yes, so sometimes you might be recording podcasts or audio or working on it. Accessibility or finding bugs, writing blog posts, helping build a business, contributing code, writing content, data, documentation, helping us with designs, coming up with examples, organizing events, contributing financially. You can see there's quite a lot of ways. And a lot of these ways, like giving a talk or tutorials or doing an accessibility audit, GitHub doesn't quite reflect those in the contributor graph. And so the all contributors is a way to come in and make those explicit. Very cool. So we've merged that. Now we can continue on. Yes. Closed, right? Closed, yes. And I haven't merged that actually. So yes, let's go back here. Hasib, thank you very much. Hasib Majid. Thank you for that contribution, helping us improve our developer experience. IPython, by the way, is a Python shell that lets you enter interactive Python statements, evaluate those statements like 1 + 1, and hit enter, and then you get to number 2. And IPython has a lot of features that improve the default Python shell, like autocomplete when you hit, I think, tab, or if you hit if you have a class and you type the class name and hit dot, it might tell you what members are in that class. Which all of those kind of take the burden off of the developer, make it easier, less that we have to think about when the editor or the IDE or the shell can kind of do some of the heavy lifting for us. Cool, so let's come up here. We've done this editor configuration. I'll leave this tab open. It already was open. And another contribution closes. And let's double check that they are assigned. And we'll begin our review. Editor config. So we got to keep track of lint. This should have been picked up by our linter. Oops. Oh, darn it. Will it let me? It's annoying. All right, I'd like to delete that. Only when you first add a comment does it let you add a code configure suggestion. These code suggestions basically let the developer save a few keystrokes. They don't have to implement that. They can just accept it by clicking a button, more or less. Yeah, and these are lint level stuff, grammar level stuff, but nonetheless, this is how you review code. And we don't have any link there. Bit of grammar. And this kind of usage of here for hyperlinks is a bit passe. What typically we do for online content now is you put a noun or a verb, like register here, like you can register online for the event, or see the, for example, here we would see editor config. Something like that. Oh, I see. Well, okay, so there's not really another accompanying article on VS Code, like PyCharm has one. has an article about editor config. So we'll take this. That's not for the grammatical syntax. That's it. So this is overall like very straightforward pull request. Probably the documentation is really important, and maybe the most it's challenging to figure out the desired styles so far. So this is already a great start. Python, indent size 4. We'll be able to then build on this and modify, but everything looks good. See where they fall on tabs versus spaces. All right, so we'll just request changes here. Yeah, so again, grammar and lint are very low level suggestions. Ideally, I wouldn't have to be the linter. And, increasingly there are tools that help with grammar as well. But yeah, it's not a big deal is what I'm trying to emphasize. So we'll request changes on that. We could merge this pull request with exactly as it is. There's no blockers, of course, but if there's a little room for improvement, maybe let's take a little extra time here. And I think I need to, now that I think of it, tag these as Oktoberfest. Hacktoberfest. Whoops. Make sure I'm doing the right thing on the project management side. Participation. Everyone is welcome. Quantity is fun. Quality is key. There's been issues in the past with spam. People would, be doing those little grammatical additions or subtractions to README files, and you're just spamming a bunch of repositories by adding punctuation. And that was kind of a bit annoying, and like kind of saying grammar is important, but it's not like essential. So it's not very like high quality in terms of adding features, finding and fixing bugs, those types of things. And short-term action, long-term impact. In the open source community, we stand on the shoulders of project maintainers and those who came before us. Your participation has a lasting effect on people and technology long after October. Your participation helps build the future of the internet as well as your career. So I think it's, both, everybody wins. Everyone's a winner. So here we go. And find the project. We have to accept the pull or merge request to count towards your total. You have to have 4 pull or merge requests accepted between October 1st and 31st. And let me make sure I've got the right. Maintainer should be right. So I've done this. I've added the Oktoberfest topic. Label to issues. Check. contributing, check. Issues that have well-defined scope, yeah, pretty much did that. We have some issues that don't have well-defined scope, particularly in CiviWiki, and I need to improve that. I don't know if I'll be able to make time to improve that issue during Hacktoberfest. So in any way, we added some low-hanging fruit. Code of conduct, ready for pull request. All right, so I guess I don't have to label these. I'm going to go ahead and label the pull request just so it's clear. Man, I've already done that one. All right, so we did request changes here. All right, so we can close, editor config. Django stubs in MyPy. This is a bit more complicated. Yeah, we don't have pre-commit yet. Like I said, this has a pretty well-defined scope. These are all coming straight out of the book. Improve your Django developer experience. We've got issue closes. We've got assigned to issue. Looking good. There are some conflicts. Okay, this is a bit challenging. I'll try to do these to help them out. So in the develop branch, we got a little bit types, traitlets. It looks like we can what do I think happened or should happen here? These are alphabetized. Package extras. Okay. I shouldn't manually, I think I shouldn't manually hack the poetry lock. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to try to help out here though. Let's hop over to VS Code and open CiviWiki. Go to GitHub. And this is 1365. Check out pull request. And actually I need to sync the changes and develop. Then check out 1365. And terminal. Let's see. I'm going to rebase. TOML. So the TOML I can resolve, and Poetry can then handle the regenerating the lock file. Okay, let me think here. There was this a new feature for under here, I think. So I want to keep all of these basically. And then poetry has a command. To lock, yeah, right. Let's try poetry lock. Try to lock off that. Right. So I think what I need to do is just delete the poetry lock. I can check out this branch again. Move to trash. Poetry lock. This will take a bit. Okay. Actually, not sure what that was. So we got a poetry lock. This should be correct. Pi project looks good. Then we can continue our rebase. Which I think is just get rebase dash continue. Yeah, dang. Let me try that again. Ah, there it is now. I've got the merge editor. I'm not sure why it didn't work before. And deleting this file, Oh yeah, now it says continue. Very good. Huh. So I'm not going to use that interface this time. One more time. Gosh. Have they made a change? Develop. I mean, I just checked it out. Shouldn't be an issue. All right, already up to date. So come here. Okay. So I've got to rebase, I think. I don't want kind of new contributors to have to wrestle with this type of stuff. Delete the lock. Now, okay. Now the Git branch and this local branch are out of sync because I essentially changed time. This is rebase is dangerous because you get out issues with synchronization of changes. But what I'm going to do is so what this force will do is it'll force the remote repository to rewrite time. So anyway, I can't do the rebase approach. I'm not sure if I should edit this this log file manually. Mainly because the content hash needs to match, I think, everything. And neither of these content hashes will match the merged content hash. So what can we do here? It's got to be the hash of the union of these, all these. And I don't have permission to write to their branch. Maybe on GitHub. Maybe on GitHub, actually. Actually, yeah. Why don't I do this? So we want this by Project Tomo. And it should look like that. Hopefully. Now, Poetry Lock, this is massive, but boom. Poetry Lock. massive. We should be able to copy and paste it. I think this is the right way to do it. I don't know. If you've got any other opinions, let me know in the chat. I'm going to mark it as resolved and commit merge. Oikesti. All right. It'll commit to develop. That's the problem, is I could have done a commit merge on my local machine to the develop branch. I just have to do it. Something happened there. Okay. So basically, I'll approve the changes. Hopefully our project's in good health. I'll run it locally in just a moment. And we will spin this off into another issue. Continued from 1331. Just to kind of note to self, more or less. Good first issue, Oktoberfest. That's pretty good. Okay, looks good. CI workflow is still running. I'm going to get a cup of tea real quick. We're cruising along. Looks like CI workflow completed. Everything's green. I'm going to merge this, then get a cup of tea. Okay, I'll be right back. All right, thanks for waiting. So, as a follow-up to this pull request, we will add Apurva Kashyap, a lazy bipedal specimen with a little knack for coding. Nice. Add them to our all contributors list. I'll approve it. It's just all contributors bot adds a little bit of JSON to describe the contributor and link to their avatar and profile, and then what types of contributions they've made. And then it updates some HTML, this table of contributors. It's alphabetized, and increments the number of contributors from 86 to 87 in this case. Very cool. We'll have to have a celebration when we hit 100. We might have already hit 100. I've been pretty diligent and tried to add everybody, even contributors from before we implemented this all contributors bot. I might have overlooked some people, and like I say, the code ones are super easy because you just do it as part of the pull request process. But I want to make sure that we're inclusive here and on the lookout for other types of contributions, particularly community development. We want to really make this a welcoming community for new contributors. So if you're interested in just hanging out in our chat room or participating in discussions, those are really important ways that you can help the CiviWiki project. Very cool. Let's continue. I'm going to try to get through these pull requests in the next 30 minutes. All right. Oh, yeah. I'm not sure that I need to add this Hacktoberfest label. Maybe just for good measure, I will label everything as Hacktoberfest. That comes in October. Might as well. Yeah, that's good. And Gorkum. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I labeled it Hacktoberfest. Nice. All right, I was just going to make sure. All right. Where are we? Browser reload. This is a nice one so that you don't have to keep hitting Control R every time you make a change to the front end. Closes 1346. Good. 1346 is not assigned. All right. So in fairness, we had another person who, this is why I really want to make sure that we assign a task before working on it, because there's confusion is a bit frustrating. Don't just dive in, please. Say, claim the issue first. Claim the issue first. That's good. And actually do that as request changes. And in fairness, if you submit a pull request without claiming the issue, somebody else can do that work. Somebody else can claim the issue. Dang it. Typo. All right, just wasn't paying attention. Oh, actually, I'm not sure. That was my mistake here. You know, I don't know what the issue is. I'm pretty good about, if I acknowledge somebody, I'm going to hit that assign button. That's why I'm acknowledging them. I'm not sure what happened there. Could have been even just I was on the mobile client. Sometimes I'm doing these on my phone and fumble around. But anyway, so that was my bad nonetheless. In fairness, just trying to think how to word this. I'm kind of feeling a little bit frazzled right now. My words aren't flowing so much. I'm trying to be polite. Something like that. All right. Sorry for the confusion. Boom. I need to add this to our contributing guide now. Basically, I'll just fix this real quick. Contributing. Encode code. I should fix that in any case. Well. Oh, what am I doing? There we are. Actually, just fix the typo, and then this can go in our pull request template. All right. And this is, I'm going to do outside of a comment so that people have to kind of acknowledge it by deleting it. I don't know if that's good. It's a bit sloppy, but okay. And there might be an improvement on the template where I can display a note above, like, let's check this out. And actually, I should be not, going too far into doing these. Improve our to claim. Yeah. And there's room for recovery. I mean, you can open a pull request. You still just need to claim the issue. That's all. All right, I think there should be a way to display a note. issue forms we can do. All right, so I can't really do a pull request form. All right, well, shoot. I'll add it to our contributing guide as well. Probably doesn't need the emphasis. It's not doing much anyway. Yeah, it's like it won't let me assign people. This wouldn't be such a big problem if I could assign people from a linked pull request, but nonetheless, it's kind of good practice because as you can see, there's confusion. I should have, in this most recent case, assigned the issue. Let me just do this real quick. Which then got picked up by another developer, partially probably because I didn't assign it. So they thought it was still unclaimed. Something like that. Oh, I should have included that in the thing, Bob. Anyway, so create pull request and ask for review. There we are. Very cool. Okay, so that's that. Now we'll have a bit of a note. We'll have it in two places at least. Maybe I don't think I want to pollute our README with this procedural note. When most people aren't so much interested in contributing, they want to maybe use the software, or if they are contributing, they might not be contributing pull requests. So I don't want to be presumptive. All right. Pull requests. Django browser reload. Changes requested. Functional landing page. Ah, yes, yes. Okay, these. One other thing, again, make sure, yes. All right. And we're committing a blob, which is okay. It's 500 kilobytes. Let me double check. It's in the stack. Not sure if Django can collect static there. I think that it should go in a different. Let's see if Django can collect static here. One indicator will be I'm not sure if we need to support these old versions of IE. It's a lot of CSS. bg.jpg. I think that's the problem. These should be handled in the way that Django static. This is a bit overkill, I think, also. All right, so let me go ahead and get our VS Code up. Let's pull in develop, reload. Yes, right. Let's do Riley. Oh, okay. No. Not for development. It's already looking better, actually. So let's leave this alone. Gorkum fixed this issue. Yeah, I think this is better. So here's what we'll do. Has this? Oh man! Because I want this to count for Hacktoberfest. I don't want this contributor to have wasted their time, but this issue was preempted by Gorkum fixing the home page. Oh man. So let me see. Yeah, and Aporva has already contributed code. Well, basically, to get it on track, we still need to port this over to Django template syntax. There should be a tool. Oops. Huh, I thought there was, oh, that's in Firefox. If I was using Firefox for development here. So I think I can do that from here. Yeah, right, wrong page. Open it. But it does this weird zoom thing. I don't know. Maybe that's not a problem. All right, and that opens in the background. That's the problem. All right, it's a bit of a KDE kerfuffle there. Yeah, I'm a bit clumsy today. All right. Yep. Uno momento. All right, Grammarly is a super useful tool. Because grammar is complex. Okay. There we are. The original landing page. And that's sort of what I sort of was explaining, but I didn't have enough context. So this I need to add. There we go. All right, so a bit more changes needed. I can step in and help on this one if it's a pain. I think we should be good to go. All right, pull request next. Django debug toolbar closes. Tasks unassigned. I did assign them to this task. And 2 days ago, and they've been assigned for 4 days. And they open a pull request. Django debug toolbar, Django debug toolbar. Interesting. I don't know. Closing was abrupt. But I need Django GitHub to not get crosswired, and I will easily get crosswired if I don't follow these simple things. So I see a red light here and a green light here. I get confused super easily. This is unassigned. 2 days ago. One hour ago, 2 days ago. Jeez, I created these and I stepped away for the weekend. Yes, Simar did act first. Okay. I'm just waiting for them to respond. So that one's a bit of a log jam. All right. But I can keep from getting confused, so I'll remember that I've gone through requested changes. Django debug toolbar. Devo was waiting for Hacktoberfest. They followed the procedure. They are assigned to this issue. They claimed it. Got assigned. Open the pull request. Change the files. Poetry was changed. We want debug for security. And I'm not sure we're following the best security. We're probably committing our secret here. But in any case. And the comments a bit wonky. Anyway, debug toolbar was added. Internal IPs. Yeah, looks good. Looks good. Let's run it locally. Yep, that was right. Django. That's a bit tricky. Looks good. Top up my tea real quick. All right, looking good. Some tea. Got the packages installed. We should give instructions how to activate the environment variables. But we have it there. So, and we are sort of being safe here with the Django secret key. Oikesti reset that. Yeah, Django debug toolbar is working on an older branch, but yeah, this is nice. Looks good. CPU time. Very cool, a lot of information here. I think this is looking good overall. I will request changes that we not change that. correct. That's a small one. I agree that I understand that quotation moves inside parentheses and quotes. Punctuation moves inside quotations and parentheses. But in the case of these code fences, that punctuation is meaningful in a different way. And the code fences should be treated as raw text. Grammarly doesn't, of course, know that because it's not centered towards developers, but I hope if I flag that enough times, maybe they'll make an exception to that. Code fences are have special meaning in developer community. And false dot is a syntax error, I believe, in this case. And if somebody copies that value, then they can introduce a syntax error. All right, cool. So we've reviewed that request. Coming along good, though. And almost complete with add section on claim and issue. Actually, this was mine. And setting environment variables. Now I'm using Poetry. And since we're using Poetry Shell, we can make use of poetry.env. What did I do previously? Let's take a look. I'll have to probably come back to this, but maybe I'll include a section real quick in my pull request. All right, so first things first, add an issue. Everything we do this month is Hacktoberfest. I think we're pretty good to go. Submit new issue. All right, so then let me just two issues with one. Change this to draft real quick. environment variable. Pending. All right. So essentially what we're going to use is poetry.env plugin. Poetry.env plugin. Poetry install. Poetry add. You'll need a pip and install it. All right. So let's go over here and let me just think for a moment. All right, so we need a few changes. That's it. Ding, ding. There's that, and I did the wrong thing. Just save that and close that, and here's this. And that's actually incorrect, though. You can't just pip add that, you need to poetry self add. Let me make sure this is still correct. Looks good. All right, then we're going to activate the think we can just commit these environment variables. If I take a look at our settings, in particular, databases. See, we're not even using it. So what I'll do is I'm going to commit this .env. Now I thought I'd open that. This is just weirdly named. Yeah, basically I'm going to take that away. And so we're not using that. Local username, local password won't be necessary either. Yeah, it's just in the environment. All of this is coming from the Django thing. The database URL in a different environment, so we don't need any of those in settings. Whoops, sorry about that. So here are our database URL, database URL. Let me just double check it out for each of these. One result. One result. One result. Yeah. Remove. Okay, so remove unused environment variables. Simplify static file storage. Just going to use that. And we'll come back to it. Hopefully that won't be a breaking change. I don't think so, though. We're not really handling static files. So less is more. rename the file. So let's get some commits here. This actually, yeah, still the right branch. Actually, well, yeah. So the settings need to precede this. To change. Our activated are set, and it's past. Let's run this through grammar. Let's run that section through grammar. Actually, and let's just run this through the app.grammar. Grammarly, one moment, just in case. Let's get my scratch pad here. Show you how Grammarly works. So it's going to run through everything. issue is a specific word. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I can see how this would be. How about we just take project off? Inside code fences should ignore. Inside code fences should ignore. How about just resources? It's inside code fence. All right. I'm not sure if that's what's displayed on the page. Oh, I see. Maybe double quotes here. Here we're trying to follow the text that's on the page. Doesn't need much more. Okay, close that, close this. I don't think we're using those, but okay. Probably a bit too much information. Looks good. Wow. Okay. Quite a lot of changes, little things that add up over time. Grammar is not a super high priority. We don't typically block something for grammar, but if it's a documentation related thing, I think it helps just to solve the grammar in place. Make that a link so it's not a big blob. Cool. And this will remain pending. I'll take it out of draft. It'll remain open. I'm not going to merge it. I'm going to wait for the review. So that changed to a bit more code. That way we were able to kind of close to multiple things. It's a bit bigger scope than one issue. Cool. All right, take it out of draft. Very good, 2 hours, not too bad. 2-hour session, that's just for the Open CiviWiki project. Just going to do a quick recap. So I'm getting things organized. We'll show what we merged first, what we closed, and kind of the rationale of why. And then what's open. Pending review. Yep. All right. That's everybody. Oh, don't close that. Hello and welcome to this Python and Django live code hangout. We're working on the open source project Open CiviWiki today. And in this session, I didn't do too much coding of my own. I did a little bit of documentation. Most of this was spent reviewing a bunch of other contributors as part of the Hacktoberfest event and our All Contributors Initiative. Hacktoberfest encourages people to get involved in open source projects by contributing to issues that are typically labeled as help wanted and good first issue. By adding the Hacktoberfest label, it lets all Hacktoberfest practitioners know that this particular issue has been selected for the event, as well as the Hacktoberfest organizers. And I'm typically only labeling good first issue and help wanted with the Hacktoberfest. Some of the issues are more complicated or would require more in-depth knowledge of the project, and maybe not so good for your first time contributing to a given project. So we've left those ones off of out of scope of Hacktoberfest. So without further ado, let's just go through what changes we've reviewed, merged, closed, and left open today. There's a bit of a mixed bag. So one of our core maintainers, Gorkum Arslan, contributed a bug fix. We had accidentally removed our base JavaScript file from the base template, meaning it was breaking most of our other pages. So I had removed it. And Gorkum caught that. I was trying to clean up the backbone templates, and I think I removed it mistakenly without testing the implications of that. We're porting over, for context, we're porting over from Backbone.js to just Django templates to make our developer experience much more streamlined, so you don't have to juggle multiple languages. In any case, it was a bit premature that I removed this from our base template. Broke some things, and Gorkum kindly fixed it. So we merged that. You'll notice that Gorkum also added the Hacktoberfest label to indicate that this was part of Hacktoberfest. And we're trying to do that with all of the other issues. I'm not sure you have to label the pull requests, but we'll try to do that as well to just make sure people get credit for that. Another issue, 1343, was to use IPython for our local development shell. All these issues have the overarching theme of improving our developer experience, making it easy to work on the project, have good developer ergonomics, good documentation. We really want this to be a nice project to work on from a community standpoint, since it's community maintained in particular. But any project should have these nice developer experience kind of changes. I'm using a book for most of these called Improve Your Django Developer Experience. Highly recommended if you're interested in working on Django. So the changes here were to add IPython as a direct dependency, as a development dependency, I should say. We don't necessarily want to use IPython as a dependency in production. I will add a note that Poetry doesn't basically, even though this is marked as a development dependency, Poetry will solve the dependency constraints to find the latest compatible versions of all of the dependencies, production and development, in any environment. So even though we're only intending to use this in a development environment, Poetry is going to still include it or consider it when resolving dependencies in a production environment, which might not be desirable in the long run, since this has quite a few sub-dependencies that it added. I'm just kind of skimming here so you can get an idea of the number of green lines. When you see that word package, it's adding a new package to the mix. So even though we only defined one top-level package, IPython comes with several sub-dependencies. In any case, we went ahead and merged that. Thank you, Hastab. Hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. And as part of our All Contributors initiative, anytime somebody contributes to our project in any way, not just code, there's many ways to contribute. We're going to add a comment to that, either a discussion or pull request. Sometimes you're contributing ways that we don't capture here on GitHub. We're trying to be inclusive of all contributors. You could be a financial backer. You could be coming up with ideas, finding bugs, hosting community events, helping us with accessibility, user experience. There are so many ways to contribute, and we want to try to affirm all of those by following this All Contributors guideline. So essentially what it does is opens a pull request that adds the contributor to our contributors section here, as well as what they did. So here's Haseb and their code contribution. You can see that we've got, I think, over almost 90 contributors now. We're at 87. So let's take a look at the next contribution. Aporva, working on issue number 1349. I want to point out something. We're following a process. Since we have so many issues and contributors, we want to make sure that it's clear at any given time who is working on what. And to do that, we need to assign people to issues. That way we know that one or more people, you can assign actually multiple people, are working on a given issue. So that anytime somebody's viewing our backlog, all of our issues, they can say, okay, this is assigned, that's assigned, oh, but these are open. Maybe I can work on one of those. It's just a way of communicating what's available and what's not. So we have a process. Basically, you have to stop by the issue, claim it, I'll acknowledge somehow, and then I can assign you. I've made a mistake here and there. I forget to assign somebody, or maybe on mobile oil, I don't press the confirm button, or I'm not sure. It's not a perfect process. But without this step of saying any comment, I can't assign the issue. It won't, like GitHub won't let me assign people who aren't part of our core contributor. I'm not sure how it generates this list, but I think these are members of the CiviWiki organization, yeah. And so if somebody doesn't add that comment, I can't assign. But since they did say they would like to work on this, I was able to assign them. And subsequently, they linked this. So when you mention, use a keyword, closes, fixes, and in an issue number, GitHub will intelligently sort of link the pull request with the given issue so that when the pull request gets merged, the issue also gets closed. Just saves us a little step. So they added Django stubs and MyPy here, updated the poetry lock, and added the two packages that were mentioned. MyPy is a runtime and development time static type checker that helps us write code with confidence that we're not breaking other code that depends on that code, and that we're using the functions and classes that we're importing correctly, that we're providing them with the data types they expect. And Django stubs is a compatibility layer for MyPy that kind of makes some of the Django internal classes that might not have type annotations, or might not be possible to annotate the types. I'm not sure how it works, but it provides those annotations for MyPy compatibility. And then two small configuration things. I just realized the Django settings module is incorrect here. Dang it. So I need to actually fix that bug. The core.settings is where that should be located. In any case, merge the pull request. I will open a follow-up bug report for that, get that MyPy configuration correct. And we're going to continue another part later. We're going to work on what's called pre-commit to make sure that all of the commits are clean. They have well-formatted code and some other safety checks that can run every time you commit via Git. Anyway, thank you very much, Aporva, for your contribution. And I'll try to remember to add one small follow-up task. Yes, so this was the issue definition I mentioned before. And now here's an example of kind of where the communication broke down a bit on a task. You know, in BadRep wanted to take this issue, and number 1344, and opened a pull request for it. And you know, we're grateful for these pull requests, and they got all the configuration correct. From the documentation, they added all the lines that we needed. The problem was Davo had already claimed the issue. And in fairness to Davo, they have the kind of first priority on this issue. And they just wanted to wait a little bit till Hacktoberfest started. They claimed it just right before October 1st. And I did acknowledge and followed up with the assignment. So that was that's how things should go. This issue was opened after Hacktoberfest and after the issue had been claimed. So we had clear signaling here that this issue was claimed. And Davo signaled me to review their pull request. So in this case, I just closed this issue while kind of explaining why we weren't going to be able to accept this contribution, but that there are other opportunities to contribute, and we'll gladly work with BetterUp to find another issue. I can define issues that are small in scope, and there's a couple of other ideas, but I just wanted to illustrate here why we closed this particular issue, pull request, without resolving the issue. And then we have a few pull requests that remain open, and I will just run through these real quick. So again, relating to this signaling, there Simariot Singh has contributed code to fix this auto-named migration task 1351, but the task is unassigned, and there are several people who are interested. Now Simariot or Simar has started working on this task 5 days ago on September 29th, before these other contributors expressed interest. So I'm going to give them the opportunity, and I've mentioned that they need to claim this issue before I can proceed with the code review. I'm going to be kind of strict here. It's not always perfect, and I've made mistakes here, but we're going to follow this process. It's important because we get several people who are interested in working on the same task. When nobody's assigned, it's not easy for them. I think in a minute you'll see one where I messed up and I didn't assign somebody. So we're going to leave that open, and I'll review it once we've got it properly assigned. So here's an example. I started reviewing it. It's for issue number 1348. We've got, they've claimed it, I acknowledged, and assigned them. So that's all good order. And the issue here is to add a configuration so that when people are using editors which support this editor config, they'll get automatic code formatting in certain low-level details like your indent size and whether to use tabs or spaces. Here I've just added a couple of lint level suggestions, and they can just freely commit these changes directly to their branch, so to make it a little easier. Again, this is just lint and grammar, so we've left this one open and giving Haseb a chance to make some small improvements. I think this is the one where there's a little bit of a signal crossing. I believe they... Okay, yeah, here's the problem. Whale Zero claimed this issue. I acknowledged it, and usually at that point I immediately assign somebody, but for some reason I had missed the assignment part. I'm not sure why, because I acknowledged them right away. And in the meantime, a pull request was open, but in fairness to Well Zero, they wanted to wait for, I think they wanted to wait for Hacktoberfest. I'm not sure, but since I didn't assign them, I acknowledged, and then this other pull request was open. I had to kind of indicate to Mohammed that we're going to give Wax Zero a chance to work on this task since they claimed it first. I will leave it open until we see a pull request from Whale Zero, since they're still assigned. But you can see how confusing it can be and probably frustrating when you write a pull request that where somebody else is assigned to the issue. We're going to try to avoid that going forward. Here's another issue with good intention and I think proper process. We've got an assignment and in Hacktober, and The problem here was I didn't provide a screenshot of the expected design, and it was because I introduced that bug I showed a moment ago on the home page, where our home page was broken because I removed a JavaScript file that was responsible for the backbone logic that renders everything, these backbone templates. And Gorkum fixed that, and now today I was able to take the screenshot of how the homepage looks with the backbone template, and we just want to reproduce this homepage with Django template syntax. So it's a matter of porting the backbone JS templates over to Django template syntax and removing the backbone logic. Since I didn't kind of communicate that clearly, I think I opened a pull request, and they were using the landing page from our CiviWiki website, which is a little static website. So the code that they brought over is a bunch of CSS and a static image from this civi.wiki website, which is not kind of correct. So I had to course correct this task. Hopefully we'll get them on the we'll get on the right path. We know the desired outcome here now a little bit better. All right, I got a few notifications going in the background. I'll probably need to wrap up here. Another pull request. Basically, we need to follow the process, adding the comment so other developers know which issues are under work. Before I'll review that, I don't want to go further with review until we've got that assignment made. This was a good pull request, adding Django debug toolbar. The only thing I wanted to do here is just make sure that we leave this debug mode as defaulting to false. So that if we deploy it to production and forget to set that debug to false, we don't want debug in production. We're not in anywhere close to production yet, but just a small suggestion. And they can, again, commit the change by clicking 2 buttons, so it's not too big of a deal. Otherwise, the pull request looks great. The main changes are adding this debug toolbar, the middleware, URLs, and installing the project. And finally, I opened a pull request with several changes to developer documentation about this pull request workflow, how you need to claim an issue before starting to work on it, before opening a pull request, just to try to clear up some confusion. I also had added that to our pull request template. It was already in there in a way, but not so direct. Like before you open a pull request, you need to claim the issue. Make sure nobody else has it claimed. So we're just going to avoid confusion there. Then the environment variables, we had some kind of crufty environment variables there. I cleaned them up and added documentation on how to automatically set them using a .env file. And Poetry has a way that when you activate the Poetry shell, it'll also activate virtual environment variables in the .env file. And then I just ran an automated grammar checker called Grammarly over our contributor guide, just to kind of get everything on a good note. That guide, it grows organically, and we're not always paying attention to grammar, so I took just one opportunity to give it a full pass with the Grammarly grammar checker, and it found some improvements. So hopefully this is not too many lines to review, mostly grammar and developer documentation. So I'm waiting for review on that. Okay. Well, this has been quite a busy session, and as you can see, there have been many pull requests reviewed, some closed, some with changes requested, and some improvements in our process, how we onboard new community members and steward issues and pull requests. Well, I appreciate your time, and I hope you're doing well. Have a great day.